What's going on? Zach Crawford here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to be productive in your business and make more money by doing less work. Now, I know this sounds hypey, but bear with me for a few seconds here. So here's what happens. Most entrepreneurs, when they actually set out to build a business, the goal is to have freedom, the goal is to have more time with their family, the goal is to do more of the things we want and pursue our hobbies, to make a bunch of money so we can do all those things. But even if you end up making a bunch of money, like I did, right? You create a trap for yourself. You create something that requires you to put in 10 times more work than the actual job is. And that's completely fine, but you also want to get to a point where you have a life, right? That's the goal. That's the end goal. And so what I did is after I got into actually making money, I realized that I was working an insane amount of hours and I wasn't really enjoying the process. So I set out on this journey, invested in thousands of dollars in courses, books, learning from many different mentors. And over the last 4 to 5 years, I put together my perfect process to actually be productive. Now all I do is I focus on income producing activities, things that are going to drive the business forward, and I'm ruthless with my time. I don't like when people steal my time. I don't like wasting my own time. I can always make more money, but I can never get back more time. I'm literally dying 1 second at a time, and time is precious, right? We have one life to live. So what I want to do here is instead of giving you like my 5 best tips or just summarizing things that I've learned, I want to give you my free course that I literally created inside of a bigger course, right? Called the 30-Day Launch Plan. And I did this for my Facebook Mastermind group, and it's specifically for affiliate marketers. But the topic is not even about affiliate marketing. It literally will work if you're a coach and consultant. It will work if you're creating your own products. It will work if you're doing an agency or even an offline business. At the end of the day, all it comes down to is learning what are the income producing activities in your business, focusing on that, and literally eliminating all the other stuff. Getting rid of all that other stuff that's not important, like decorating your office, like, doing admin stuff. All these different things that you do are costing you money. So what I'm hoping here is that you'll go through this training, you'll get these tips and apply them to your business, because these are some of my best productivity tips I could ever give you. These are things that have made me more money. These are things that save me more time now. And now I'm actually building a business I enjoy, and I still have a life, and I'm still able to pursue things that I want because I'm being ruthless with my time. If you abuse your time, you're going to build a business just like I did, where it's a massive trap. And so if you're at that point right now, this video is going to help you actually figure out how to be productive, focus on the things that are going to bring in more money, and eliminate all the stuff that you hate doing. So I'm going to walk you through this process. I'm going to give you this video and roll over to the clip here in a minute, and it will walk you through the process of everything I do, from tracking everything I do, getting better every single week and how I do that, and then actually figuring out what are the things that are going to drive the business home over focusing on all the things that basically just take up your time and don't make you money. All right, guys, so what I'm going to talk about today is really going to tie all the stuff in. And tomorrow we're going to have homework, just so you know. Now, it's not like the boring type of homework that we're probably used to and accustomed to as we go through school. It's not going to be the type of stuff where it's like really boring. But we're going to tie all the stuff together at the end of the week of things that you need to actually implement. And this week, even though it's been like longer, there's a lot of very valuable lessons here. At the same time, it's not as fun as the content that's going to come in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, which is like what actually makes the money. But this is like the foundational work. This is the stuff that matters probably more than all the tactics, the technical stuff. It just matters way more than what you would actually do if you didn't know this stuff. And this is the stuff that I missed like when I first started. And I'll be honest, like I heard different people say things like this when I first got started, but I ignored it. And it was because it wasn't sexy, it wasn't fun, it wasn't entertaining, it didn't make me laugh, it didn't inspire me. So because of that, I failed to really apply all this stuff, and I can tell you that my life was a mess. I'm talking emotionally, I'm talking in business, I'm talking my relationships. It wasn't until I started applying these concepts that I'm teaching you now that really do that. Now, guys, as always, if you guys have been if you guys have been valuing what I'm putting out for you, and you really enjoy this training, I'd appreciate if you make sure you smash the like button. That's how I reach more people in the group. When you hit that like button, more people see it. So that also lets me know if I'm on the right track. It lets me know if this stuff is worth my time. I mean, literally, I sit up at 2 hours every night creating these. Like this morning, I got up even early after I stayed up last night. So I got about another 3.5 hours into this presentation. So with that being said, I'm going to jump in, okay? So here's the thing. I want to talk about really why the next 30 days matter, and it's crucially important to like what you're going to do. Now, obviously, for the next 30 days, we're going to be studying, right? We're going to be going over all this stuff, but you also want to be focusing on action taking at the same time. So I want you to understand, how you operate in the next 30 days. It's really going to make the difference of how you'll finish the year. And I didn't used to believe in things like this. Like I said, I used to try to ignore all the personal development stuff. I used to try to ignore doing routines. I was the guy that wanted to wing it. I wanted to do things on my terms. I wanted to do it when I wanted to do it. And it was a mess, right? So the other thing you got to realize is that people that take massive action regardless if they're fully ready, are usually the people that are going to be successful. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. They understand there's always going to be stuff to get better at, new things to learn. And one of the things I can tell you is that, successful people are very resourceful. And they really learn things like when you don't know something, you go Google it. Oftentimes I'll see people where they get caught up on like technical things. Like let's just say how to use Aweber. I don't use Aweber, but let's just say it's like how to use their autoresponder. And instead of like going to like Aweber and reading the documents, they'll ask me how to use it, even though like it's right there in front of their face, right? And what I can tell you is I learned this lesson when my coach basically taught me the hard way, right? And he constantly forced me to do things I didn't want to do. And we're going to talk, I'm going to cover the next point, then we'll go back to that. But people who are not successful, right? Let's talk about people who are not successful really quick. They usually spend all their time studying. And the reason they're doing this is because studying feels good. Studying, like, it helps you avoid what you actually need to do, which is actually taking the work and taking action. And what happens is that, they spend all their time studying, like literally getting on every single live stream, getting on every single YouTube channel. They're following every single guru, and they think that like that's going to help them. More information. Like, I want to see really quick, how many of you guys have already started? I want to see how many of you guys have already started shutting out distractions. Like how many of you started unsubscribing from people that don't add value to you? How many of you already started committing to this actual plan that we're building over the next year, and you've eliminated other distractions that are going to pull you away? I just want to see how many people have actually applied the stuff we've talked over the last couple of days, and how many people already are still doing their old habits of watching like 5 live streams a day and opening up every email and watching multiple YouTube channels. I want to see how many people are actually following what we're talking about. They're not just listening. All right, good. I'm seeing lots of yeses, and that's what I want to see. All right, so here's what I want to talk about really quick, is that the people that like wait for somebody to give them all the steps, like the sad reality is they're never going to be successful. Never. And I used to be one of these people, so I had to learn the hard way. So I'm going to go back to what my mentor taught me, right? So what he personally did all the time was frustrate me. He always made me uncomfortable. And I'll be honest, at first I thought he was an asshole. I didn't really get along with him very well in the beginning, to be honest. I liked him, but like he constantly made me want to bang my head against the wall. And I just thought like he was just like a mean person. I really did. I thought like he's just more of a mean person, but I didn't realize that it was really me. I was soft and weak. I didn't like being like confronted about the things that I was doing wrong. I didn't like being told, hey, you're messing up. And eventually I really realized the reason he was doing all this is he was forcing me to grow stronger and level up. He made me do my first video before I ever wanted to do video. He made me literally do my first webinar before I wanted to do a webinar. He made me launch my first coaching program before I even thought that I ever even wanted to do coaching. He had me do my first live stream when I did not want to do anything with live streams. Like, it's one thing to do a video. It's a whole nother world to do a live stream, because on a video, I can literally shoot that thing 25 times and edit it out and nobody will know the difference. They'll just think I'm good. But on a live stream, if I squeak, if I sound like a little girl, if I do something, I don't know, I mess up my words or I lose my train of thought, I have to learn to think on the fly. Fred, my mentor's name was Kieran. He actually passed away, was a little over a year ago. So he's no longer around, but he's somebody, like, if you ever see in the back of my wall in my videos, you'll see like there's this guy with like a snowboarding helmet on. That's him. So I want you to realize, like, at every step of the process, he would constantly push me to the point where I didn't want to do things. So when he would say something like this, right, he'd say, all right, Zach, here's what we're going to do. I literally would cringe the moment he would say that, because I knew that it wasn't going to be fun. I knew the moment that he said, here's what we're going to do, it wasn't like, hey, this is the idea of what we're going to do, or this is what I think you should do. It's like, this is what you're going to do. He didn't give me options, like, because he knew that at the end of the day, if he told me, like, hey, this is your choice, you can do this or this, he knew whatever it was, I was always going to choose the easier path. And then if I ever told him something like, hey, Kieran, I don't know how to set up, I don't even know how to, like, use GoToWebinar. And he would say, Google it, buy a course. You know, I'm here to give you the strategy. I'm not going to waste my time teaching you technical things that, like, literally you have to learn this on your own. How do you think you're going to be successful if you can't Google? Like, if you have to wait for me to give you every logical step and you can't run with the strategy I give you, how do you think you're going to be coachable? And his whole point of this was to make me uncomfortable on purpose. A lot of people, like, they're looking for these mentors. Like, I think it's funny when people refer to me as a motivational speaker. I'm like, if you actually listen to the words that come out of my mouth, you'll know that I'm not a fan of motivation. I don't like motivational speakers because I think they're full of it. I think people that just make you feel good and teach about inspiration, all you do is meditate and all this woo-woo stuff, I think they're full of it. I like straight line leadership, which is a lot different. It makes you uncomfortable every single day. It's doing what's necessary and doing what's required regardless of how you feel. And what I can tell you is that a lot of people get the whole job of a mentor or a coach messed up. They think the coach is supposed to make them feel good. And they go, like, I used to literally get people that got coaching with me just because they wanted to be my friend. I'm not joking. They would literally get on the coaching Skype call, and like every week I would like try to give them the plan, but every week they did nothing. They just wanted to tell me about their personal life, what they did at the bar, the new girl they met. I mean, it just blew my mind. Like, they didn't want to actually do the work. They just wanted to talk to me. They literally paid me tons of money to talk to me. And that was when I got my real aha that, like, if I was going to be a good leader, I had to do the same thing Kieran taught me, which is make people uncomfortable, because when you're comfortable, you don't grow. A lot of people teach you methods that are easy, so that way they don't run you away. But as I said in the previous webinar, I don't need your money, so therefore I can say what you need to hear, not what you want to do. And so one of the things I'm going to challenge you to believe right now and start thinking about is if somebody is always telling you what feels good, they're probably not telling you what you need to do to grow, right? They're not helping you make the growth choice. I want you to think about in your personal life when somebody's always telling you stuff does, it's okay, it's okay. Do you think that's really helping you? Do you think if somebody's making you feel good and motivated every day, that like, and they're not telling you what really needs to happen, that that's somebody that you want close in your inner circle? Like, ever since I got coaching from Kieran, I now know that I always have to find somebody that scares me. And what I mean by scare me is meaning they're going to constantly make me uncomfortable. They're going to constantly frustrate me. They're going to constantly tell me that I'm not working hard enough and I'm not living up to my full potential. And by doing that, I'm constantly growing because I never drink my own Kool-Aid. So here's something I want you to think about. If you spend too much time thinking about a thing, you're never going to get it done. And this is what most people do, right? They spend all their time consuming. And this is where the overwhelm comes in, because I'm going to teach you invest, learn, teach. You know, I think it's week 2. But if all you do is consume, you get overwhelmed. I want you guys to realize I study. I was telling one of my coaching students this yesterday. I study every single night. I literally, a minimum, take in at least an hour of studying every single day. I try to get more than that in. Like, my goal is like 2 hours a day. I am trying to consume faster than most people that just consume. I'm trying to learn and knowledge up very, very fast. If you remember what I said, these live streams are not for you, they're for me. I'm challenging myself to add more value. I'm challenging myself to become a better speaker. I'm challenging myself to be more consistent. I'm challenging myself to go to that next level, and that next level is not comfortable. Somebody asked me yesterday, like, Zach, how do you do these live streams every day? I said, I don't want to do them, to be honest. I said, at the beginning of the year, I sat and thought about this, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to do daily live streams again, man. That's a lot of work. It like means like an hour plus of my time every day to prepare what I'm going to say. And then it means like actually doing the live stream, which is an average of like 15 to 20 minutes a day. And then that means I actually have to show up every day and be like consistent. Otherwise people think I'm a flake. And then like I can't just do what I want. And then it hit me. And I'm like, that's what I got to do. Because it was the very thing I was trying to avoid. So what I'm going to say is you want to make sure every single day that you're taking at least one move towards a goal that's going to help you. And a lot of times it's the thing you're trying to avoid. You know, a lot of us, what we do, and I'm not innocent here. I want you to know that. And guys, all you guys that are coming in, if you're getting value from this, smash the like button. Smash the like button. This is how I reach people. I want you to get in the habit every day. If you get value from these, smash the like button. So every single day, what you want to focus on is taking some kind of action. You don't need to know all the answers. Like, I don't know what content to create. Study something and create content. You don't know, how to do Aweber? Go to Aweber and study the tutorials on how to do it. You don't know how to use ClickFunnels? Go to the tutorials and learn how to do it. Like, I literally launched, my affiliate program, right? And I did not know how to do it. I literally had to study step 1, implement. Study step 2, implement. Study step 3, implement. And then I had to go submit a support ticket and say, hey, did I set this up right? But I didn't know how to do it. I didn't ask anybody how to do it. I just did it, and then I went and asked for help. It was uncomfortable, I tell you. I hate tech. So do things regardless if you're ready. Do things regardless if you know what you're doing. Do things regardless if it feels good. The more pain you can go through and like that pain, the better you're going to be. So here's what I want to talk about really quick, because somebody even made the comment the other day, and they said that like in their job they were taught to be a multitasker. And this is the problem, right? Multitasking is like the new thing that we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to do our job. We're supposed to reply to everybody. We're supposed to people please. We're supposed to like balance all of our commitments. Like, multitasking is not going to help you. There's a lot of people in this world that seem really, really productive, and they multitask all day long, right? And it seems like a great thing, but the problem is they're never really achieving any type of purpose-driven work. They master the art of busyness, which is not a skill. And what happens is, over time, it doesn't matter how productive you are with your daily activities. What matters is the target you set over the 30 days to 12 months and how you chip away at those every single day. What I can tell you is I see a lot of people that are multitaskers building 5 social media platforms, have several businesses, and they look like they're achieving a lot, but they're not really achieving much at all. They're really unfocused. And I can tell you the person that is focused and actually commits to one path and they're very singular focused, every single time they're going to get 10 times the results. I see some gurus in this industry who they talk about creating lots and lots of content for all the platforms, right? And then when I go look at what they're doing, they have engagement on one platform and the rest nobody's paying attention. So they're posting, but does it make sense to you to post if you don't get a result? Like, if you're, give me a yes or no. Do you think it would be worth your time to just go all in on one platform and learn to master it? Or do you want to syndicate all your content across platforms even if nobody's really paying attention? I see this all the time when people want to they want to make one YouTube video and then they want to rip it and they want to put it on Instagram, they want to put it on Facebook, they want to strip the audio and upload it to a podcast. But the problem with this is people on podcasts consume content different than YouTube. So if you're talking about something and how to do something and they can't see it, it doesn't quite help them. People on Instagram like bite-sized chunks. They don't like 20-minute videos. People on Facebook consume different than Instagram. Like, you can't just create one platform and then just syndicate it. That stuff used to work back in the day when there was no competition, but now people will completely ignore you if you apply this. You got to have singular focus. So here's the thing. You have to control your world. You have to control your world. You never want to start off your day with email, Facebook, Instagram, text, chores, minimum wage activities, things that just like consume your time. I start my day the night before by planning my action list. I don't start my day in the morning like most people do. I start my day at night before I go to bed, literally with a pad of paper and a pen. And then I start my morning with reading, exercise, and personal development. Personal development to me is stuff like straight line leadership. And then once I begin work, I start with the most important thing first. So the thing that I don't really want to do, it's going to take so much of my energy and time and really drain my energy tank, I do that first, because that way all the little secondary and third things and fourth things that need to get done, I can do those later even if I'm tired. Like, even if I just don't feel like doing those things, they don't take much thought process. So I chunk away at the most important things. So an example for me in my day would be like the Facebook live stream and then doing a YouTube video so I can run an ad. And then every single thing after that is what I'm going to focus on, because that YouTube video alone is probably going to take me like 4+ hours to produce between scripting, shooting, editing, uploading, optimizing. So if I would do that last, I would probably not be in the mood. I would not be in the state. I would not have the energy to do it right. I would be half-assed doing it. So you want to focus on the biggest leverage task in your business early in the morning. And I understand for some of you guys, you're working, right? So shift that. Instead of early in the morning, it would be the first part of your day when you work, when you have the most energy. Obviously, everybody has different schedules. I know some people literally do like crazy schedules where they work like 3 days. It's like 36 hours, and then they have to like batch process, which is completely fine. That works too. Now, focused work, not busy work. You want to delete all distractions off your phone, things like push notifications, anything that pulls your time. And when you're working, put that phone in airplane mode. Trust me, you are missing nothing. I don't care. There's almost never a text that's absolutely life-threatening. There's usually never a call that you can't call somebody back. You want to delete all distractions off your computer, clean desktop, clean everything, literally. Your desk, anything that's multitasking where you have like 3, 4, 5, 20 tabs open. It's not focus. That's busy. And then, as I said, I start my morning with reading, exercise, and personal development. That shouldn't have been there. I just realized that. That got carried over. Ignore the last part, guys. Not that was the last slide. Now, self-discipline. Self-discipline. So this is something that you really got to realize is that most people are really focused on motivation, as we talked about earlier, right? They're looking to be inspired. They're looking for all the wrong things. They need to focus on discipline. And trust me, this is not going to be easy. It's something you need to constantly work at. It's something I'm constantly focused on getting better at week by week, day by day. And I can tell you the more disciplined my routine is, the more calm, the more collective, the less anxiety, the less depression, the more happiness I have. And as I said, I used to be that guy that wanted to wing everything. I just wanted to do stuff when I wanted to do it. But what I can tell you is my life felt like out of control. Give me a yes. Do you feel better when you feel like things just flow the way you want them to flow? Like do you feel more in control then? Or do you feel control when you just like, okay, it's 2 o'clock, I think I'm going to do this. Or 5 o'clock, I'm going to do this. I know me personally, like if I don't have a plan, I literally stress out. It gives me so much anxiety because I feel like I'm out of control and everybody else and everything is in control of my life. And it's funny because I avoided this for like 2-3 years of entrepreneurship. I refused to do a routine. I refused it. Even though I heard people that were like 10 times more successful than me, I refused to do it because I was always the wing it guy. So here's a few things I think you absolutely need to focus on. Number one is sleep. I used to be the guy that was hustling and grinding, right? Sleep is for the broke. I used to even say that crap. Sleep is really crucial, and the reason for that is balance, right? If your emotions and hormones are out of whack and you're constantly feeling tired and groggy and moody, like how do you think you're going to build a business? Give me a yes if you've lost a lot of sleep, like say you stayed up for a couple days, and then like somebody in your family member literally says something, you just want to rip their head off. Like it's something that would never even bother you, but because you don't have much sleep, like you're just so irritable, and you literally just like the thought of punching them in the face would just be great right now. This is the problem when you grind so much and you lose sleep, is because your emotions and your hormones are out of whack, and it's very, very hard to make logical, educated decisions when you have no sleep. Carrie, I get it. You know, everybody has different things, but like you want to try to get as disciplined as possible to get more sleep when you can. Take a nap in the middle of the day, whatever you can possibly do. Obviously, kids, they throw a wrench in things, but you still got to try to get your schedule as much as possible because you want those hormones balanced. Another thing is no sleep on weekends. This is going to kill the people with the job. You know, a lot of people, their thing is like, I work Monday through Sunday or Monday through Friday, and then like Saturday and Sunday I sleep in. But the problem with this is when you sleep in, right, you're throwing your whole routine out of whack. And then on Monday, this is why people say, you know, oh God, it's work again. It's Monday. I hate Mondays. A case of the Mondays. And then they say, thank God it's Friday. The reason they feel that way is because when they go back to work, their whole routine is out of whack. They slept in, and now it threw their body clock off, and now they have to readjust again for the first couple days of the week. This is not a good habit to do. I used to do this. Meditation. I used to think this was woo-woo, but like I don't think of meditation how most people think of it. It's really just to silence your mind. Like you want to start out really with like 5 minutes. I've not met anybody that was able to do 20 minutes out of the gate. I know I could barely get through a minute. I just literally had thoughts all over the place constantly, this and that. And one of the techniques I actually learned is like to think of one word. So every time I would start thinking about something, it could be something silly like banana. I mean, just one word you just focus on, right? So every single time your brain starts to think of something, you would say banana. And then eventually I got to the point where I could just like silence my mind and not think about anything. It's not about like thinking about your vision and thinking about what you want to achieve and all this stuff. Like, that's what a vision's for. But with meditation, the goal is just to silence your mind, to be quiet, to not think about all the busyness, because we're so busy going that we're very stressed. So start with 5 minutes and slowly work your way up. Now, another thing is eat clean. This is going to be something that a lot of people are going to fight, and they think that it doesn't matter, but I can tell it. Like, guys, I love donuts. Like, it's just like right now, I shouldn't have said that because now I want a donut. But I understand that I can't perform at high levels when I'm eating a bunch of bad food. So the cleaner you eat, the more energy, the more focus, the less sluggish you feel. If you're drinking a lot of soda, lots of carbs, lots of goodies, like, you're going to feel sluggish. I've seen people, like, especially there's somebody in my family, and literally, like, he lives off what we call hand pies. They're like these little sugar pies, right? The like apple pie things. And he uses the excuse, he says, my blood sugar gets low. I need that so I can recharge my energy. And it's hilarious because sugar doesn't recharge your energy. It spikes it up and then it drops you off a cliff. And so within probably 30 minutes of eating his hand pie, he's literally taking a nap. This is why if you eat a bunch of donuts, like, it feels amazing. And then about 30 minutes later, you're like, oh, God, I need a nap. Same thing like of Starbucks coffee. If you don't drink like this, the straight black coffee, if you drink like the stuff with the whipped cream and all the sugars and all that stuff, man, it literally jacks you up to like the top of the mountain, and then it drops you off and flat on your face. And then you need another one to jack you back up. Organization. This is one I struggled with. Keep your house clean, office clean, desktop clean, literally 0 distractions, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If your office is a mess and you have things all over the place, like, how do you think you're going to organize a business? Because a business is built on structure and systems. It's not built on winging it. Another thing is time management. You got to plan your months, your weeks, your days, your hours, and then you stick to that 7 days a week, 365. I understand, same thing. I got kids, I got commitments, I got, like, when I say 7 days a week, 365, I mean plan for everything. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to teach you how you plan out your week. But, like, you got to plan for even, like, relaxing. It may sound silly, but you got to plan for everything. I plan for Netflix. I'm not even joking. I have times that I watch Netflix and I binge on that stuff. You got to set goals. You want to set very detailed goals. That's why I taught you about vision yesterday. And you want to read these often and remind yourself what you're working towards to make sure you stay on track. That's why I told you yesterday about, like, when you have the vision and it's clear in your head, the reason that's important is because when you want to quit, the times that you just don't really feel like doing it, that's when you think, what's the alternative? Like, what's the alternative to not getting this life that I know is what will really make me happy? Is it really worth just settling and just doing this because I think this is what's realistic, or this is what people tell me is realistic, or is this really, really important to me? You guys may think this is silly, but I literally have things down in my personal relationship goals and my vision, right? It's like to tell the person how much they mean to me. You know why? Because I'll forget about that stuff. I get busy in my own stuff, busy on the business, busy like studying and learning and implementing. Like, if you don't let the people know that you love them, you'll forget about it. I'm telling you. It may seem like, oh yeah, they know I love them, we're married. I don't think so. I think every single thing in your life, like, you have, I'm going to teach you how to set fail-safes. Fail-safes are what, basically, you know what your weaknesses are, right? I know my weakness is distraction, right? And distraction and other things. So here's an example. I told my dad yesterday, I need you every day to remind me just to focus on YouTube. I'll do Facebook ads in 60 days. But for the next 2 months, YouTube. Nothing else. No Facebook, just YouTube. Because in my head, I know that my weakness will be like, oh, I got to do both. But I know in order to laser-like focus, I need to eliminate anything that's a distraction. I set up a fail-safe. I'm going to teach you about that later. So here's another one, gratitude. I think this is really, really important. I used to hear Ray Higdon say this, and I think it's like Ray Higdon, Tony Robbins, you pick it. I mean, some of you guys probably don't even know who Ray Higdon is. But basically, gratitude, it's good to have goals. But the problem is that, like I said, we're so focused on the future and the past. The past, you're living in depression, right? You're reliving moments. Because usually when most of us focus on the past, we're not focused on all the good things we did in the past. We're focused on all of our mistakes, how we used to be overweight, and like how, I don't know, we made this mistake, or how maybe we got six-pack abs, then we put on weight. But the thing is like, even if you screwed up, you can just get right back on track. Like, you have the decision just to focus in the moment and do the right thing over focusing on the past and living up the depression. But if you also live too far in the future, you're now drawing up anxiety because you're uncertain of the future. You don't know what the future holds, so you're like, what if this? What if that? Give me a yes if you do this. What if that? What if I do this and it doesn't work out? What if I invest this money and I don't make it back? What if I follow this person and they're the wrong person? This is why you get so distracted and you start following like 50 people, because you're afraid that you're going to miss something. But because you're so focused on all this stuff, you don't know how to actually focus, singular focus. Now, learn to love the pain. This is why I told you to get the book Straight Line Leadership and The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Like, these books teach you about learning to do the necessary work, learning to love the pain. Because most people are all focused on all this stuff that doesn't matter, and they're trying to avoid the pain, but really you want to chase it. The more pain, the more discomfort, the more that icky feeling kicks in, but you can press harder to go forward to break through that wall, the better you're going to do. Then, of course, never quit. You must have a relentless persistence. I'm talking whenever challenges hit you, setbacks, your emotions. Like, I'm telling you right now, the faster and harder you go, the more your emotions are going to kick in. If you think that, like, let's just say example, I don't know if Sebastian is still on here, but I know he was on here earlier. And since he's a personal friend, I don't feel uncomfortable sharing stuff about him. But both of us are like, we even have our own inner demons, right? Like, he had his funnel was working, but in his head, he had this mental block about spending more money on his personal brand. And I'm like, dude, it's working. Double down on that shit. And sometimes you just need somebody that's like your personal friend, or somebody that's an accountability. Okay, there he is. Hola. you need somebody that has your best interest in mind, that really loves and cares for you, to say, dude, you got this shit. Just do it. Because your inner demons kick in. Same thing for, like, you know, the thing I told my dad, like, just every day, I just need you to tell me focus on YouTube, because I know I'm gonna second guess myself, or I'm gonna, like, it doesn't matter if the ad's working, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I should be doing this too. Sometimes you just need somebody to kick you in the butt to push through those thoughts, because the emotions and the fears are gonna kick in, the uncertainty. What if I spend $1,000 a day and I lose? It doesn't even matter if you're making money at $500 a day. You're gonna say, well, if I scale it up to $1,000 a day, will my ads go to hell? Well, will it stop working? Like, you'll come up with all these scenarios. This is why all this stuff is important, especially like the meditation I talked about earlier, to silence the brain, because the brain is working against you. We're going to talk about how to train your brain later. Now, what you want to do is make a plan, or you're going to plan to fail. So I literally plan everything. I'm talking about like everything. And if you don't have like a clear plan, I promise you won't take action on it, because you'll be very distracted, very confused, very overwhelmed. And the problem is if you don't have a plan, you will end up doing somebody else's plan. And what I mean by this, think of it this way. Like I talked about, like 5 live streams a day, right? If you don't have a plan to take action on your own business, you're going to just consume everybody else's live streams, but instead, you should be learning your own. I'm the only person I've ever heard say this that says, copy my shit. Now, I want to clarify this, because they've took this the wrong way in the past, and they've literally copied me without giving me credibility. They've literally copied me without, like, permission, and I mean copy as in rip 100% of what I'm doing. But I'm the only person that says, hey, the stuff you're learning, use it for notes and go create your own content. Do you guys notice I'm naming names? Ray Higdon, Russell Brunson, Jordan Belfort. I even learned things from my own friend Sebastian. He used to be a student. Now we learn things from each other. I'm not worried about, oh, what if I say the person's name and they're going to go join them? Okay, that's cool. Go ahead. I'll still be here. So you gotta actually have a plan and execute on it. If you guys were smart, you'd be taking the content. There's only a couple people from this group I know that do this, that have listened to me. And they literally sit on here on my live streams every day. They take notes and they go make their own live stream. I'm talking the same day. They literally just take my content and go teach it and share the things they learned. And like, people don't know who I am. Not everybody knows who I am. And I don't care. If it works for you, I will be happy. Now, you need to hit your sales targets. Here's something that people make the mistake, and they kind of mess up what I talk about when I say you got to add value to the marketplace. I want you to understand, first and foremost, a business's job is to make the business owner money. It's not just to give value and give value and give value and never get paid. Giving value is used to attract the market, and then you sell them something, because you can't truly help somebody for free. You can't. I don't care what anybody tells you, because when you don't have any money involved, you have no skin in the game. You're not going to take it seriously. Think about it. If you have $5,000 invested in a program, and now you have all the free information in the world, which one do you think you're going to take action on? Give me an answer in below. Do you think you're going to take the $5,000 program seriously because now you have something to lose? Or do you think studying from 20 different people with all the free information is going to get you there? Now, once I create a plan, right, absolutely nothing is more important than that plan. Nothing. Literally nothing comes in the way. I don't care. Friends, family, nothing. The plan comes first, and then everything else comes second. This may sound harsh, but I'm telling you, like, my attitude in my world is people play in my world, I don't play in theirs. This may sound like arrogance, but I'm telling you, you listen to any highly successful person, and they control their world. Remember we talked about the vision, about the person who has certainty, the person who is sure of where they're going? People bend to their will. They follow them. You want to be the person with the vision. You want to be the person with the certainty. You want to be the person with the plan. So people look to you for inspiration. They look to you for the answers. They look to you for the direction of where to go. Now, with that being said, I'm not so arrogant that I don't take advice from people that I love and people that I care about. You even heard me say I even learned stuff from Sebastian. Like, that's what's funny is you'll see with successful people, we are not like arrogant like most people think. They listen to what we say and they twist it. But like me and Sebastian are humble enough that we listen to each other. We're like, damn, that's a good idea. How did I not think about that? We don't think like, I've made this much money, so I'm not listening to you. Successful people have their minds open more than unsuccessful people. They're willing to listen. My point here is that you want to make sure that once you create this plan, you treat this like it's life and death. Because most people, they just waste their time. They treat time like it's unlimited. It's an unlimited resource. But I got news for you. You're literally dying this moment, every second. Every second you waste is a second you can't get back. That's why I don't let people pick my brain. I don't let people, just ask me endless questions and then they just think that like all the knowledge and money that I've spent is for free. I don't let people like, hey man, can I get a moment of your time? And then like there's people literally at the gym. When I go to the gym, they want me to listen to them, right? And then the moment I say anything about, oh, that's cool, man, I got to go. Like that's your normal person. It's like, it's me. But they don't want to hear about other people. So you got to control your world. You got to control your time because your time is 100,000 times more valuable than money. We can always get more money. I guarantee you, I will not be on my deathbed and say, man, I really wish I made another $100,000 a month. Like I seriously, that would have made my life so much easier. That will be the last thing on my mind. It'll be like, what did I accomplish? Did I spend quality time with the people I love? Did I make sure I made an impact on the world? If you want to see something that's truly enlightening, go look up like what people, like the questions and the things they think about when they die. A lot of it's regrets because they didn't take action and do the things they wanted to do in life. They let themselves please everybody else. They let everybody else control their time and control their world and control what they should do over focusing on what they really wanted to do. It's really sad, but it's also really motivating at the same time. Now, here's the thing. It all starts with your vision, right? But that's when you create the roadmap. So we talked about the vision yesterday, right? About your big picture thinking of 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, the person you want to represent, the things you want to do. But you got to understand that like that big picture planning, that stuff is really something you only revisit every 3 months. Because trust me, if you're taking action like I'm teaching you, you're following the action plan, which we're going to talk about creating here in a bit. If you're doing that stuff every single day, what's going to happen is you're going to adjust your vision probably every 3 months. Like sometimes you're even going to find things that you created as the vision. It's not even things that you really wanted. You kind of put it down because you thought that's what you want, but then you realize later it's just something that like you thought that was great, but then you realize like it doesn't align with what I represent and what I want in life. And if you spend all your time just like thinking about your vision, like listening and putting down the vision and actually thinking about it is important. But if you do most of your time here just like visualizing getting this stuff, like you're never going to get it. You're going to be fooling yourself because action is where it happens. Now, once you have the big picture, at that point, you want to operate in 30-day chunks. Now, and I'm going to teach you, like I do operate in 90 days, But I don't operate like how I used to in 90 days. I used to really focus on the 90-day goal, and then I'd break and what happened was it created so much overwhelm. Like, give me a yes. 90 days is a long time, right? It's a long time from now. Like, me personally, like 90 days from now is hard for me to even see. I don't even like operating monthly. I operate literally like daily. Like, daily is where I live in my daily compartments. But the max I focus on is 30-day high-level execution. I have like a real 30-day goal, and then I break that down weekly, and then I break it down daily, and daily is where I really focus. Because if I focus on daily, it makes the end of the week great. If I focus on weekly, then it makes the month great. And if I focus on monthly, it leads to the 90-day goal, and usually I smash past it. So what you want to do is you want to plan for everything. As I talked about before, you want to block out any days that you can't work. So especially anybody that has a job, you really want to note this down and put where you have a job you can't work. Let's say that you have the kids, so you can only work like 1 hour, 2 hours a night. You need to schedule all this in your planner. I'm serious. You even need to plan for studying and learning. I have set times in the day that I study. I don't just study like when I feel like it. I study at a certain time. Usually for me, that's before I go to bed. Now, you need to plan every single task, like for every single day. It's not like weekly, like, well, this is the stuff I need to get done, because if you even leave it to open the whole week, you won't get it done. So literally everything I do, Netflix, relaxation, time off, like just to recharge. And sometimes I will adjust this. I want you to understand when I show you how I map it out. If I feel like if I'm at a burnout mode, I listen to my brain. Like if I hit and I'm just like, I start noticing the emotions are kicking in. I'm like, oh, Zach, you can't do this. Those goals are too ambitious. Like this isn't going to work. I will pull back like a day or two, literally just to take off work and do nothing to let my brain recharge. Because I realize I pushed myself way too far. And if I keep going that way, I'm going to go crashing down. So you got to listen to your brain. You got to listen to your mind when you really realize you've hit that mental block and you need time to refresh. Remember what I said? Think and grow rich. Like the reason the book, thinking, right? And sometimes you really do need to relax. You really do need to take time off. That's why I don't agree with the whole grind 24/7, grind your face off all day long. All your competitors are right on your tail, because if you grind like that, you're going to hit a breaking point where you just can't grind anymore. And then you lose everything that you work for. Now, you want to create a strategy, right? A strategy is a system that you follow daily without thinking. You just do it. You don't even think about it, right? This works for everything. It's something that prevents you from wasting time. There's a reason there's all these courses on productivity, because most people spend their time in procrastination mode. A strategy always answers the question, what do I do? What do I do right now? What do I do today? What do I do this week? And a strategy can be tracked, measured, tweaked, and it makes sure that you ensure you hit the goal. So I have a strategy for literally everything. Losing weight. So I have a strategy on what I eat literally every single day. I have a strategy for what exercises I do at the gym. Now, this is an old plan, just so you know. I just took these from my old slides when I taught it before. But I literally have a plan for working out. I don't have to think, what exercises do I do today? What do I eat today? If I think about what I'm eating today, I'm literally driving straight down the road and I'm getting Little Caesars pizza, because it sounds way better than chicken and veggies. I have a strategy for business. Now, once again, this is an old screenshot. This is from 2017, right? But I literally map everything. You can see like right here, it has like 7 a.m. gym time, 9 a.m. create blog post, 2 p.m. work on 997 course. So from 2 to 8, basically, I have all that time. 8 p.m. live stream. Now, I'm way more detailed than this now. Like you see, there's a lot of open-ended time, right? Between 2 and 8, obviously, I'm going to have time to eat. I literally have lunch time, break time, reading time. Like it's as detailed as it can get. I put this in Google Docs. Now, here's the thing. This is what I do with my strategy. I used to do this whole like 90-day year and everything people get caught up on. And I do focus on working on 90-day years, or the 90-day year. And just so you understand what the concept of the 90-day year is working in a quarter. And the whole strategy come about because of the fact that like a lot of big businesses, I'm talking like corporations and stuff, like 500 Inc. companies, they like work in this mad sprint in the last 90 days of the year to hit their goals. Because a lot of times they fall short throughout the year because they weren't really focusing on what they should be. They didn't have things they could track, and they're not really detailed. So what happens is they do this like sprint at the last 90 days to try to like catch up in order to get the result that they want. So instead, people started realizing, why don't we flip this on its head and we stop operating like this every single quarter? Instead of waiting until the very end of the year, Why don't we flip this on its all the way around and do it every single quarter, and we work in 90-day sprints? So what I do is I have like 1 year goals, right? Like example, the 2-Comma-Club award, that's a 1 year goal. But I don't sit there and focus on, I got to get the 2-Comma-Club award. I got to get the 2-Comma, because if I focus on that, like I'm not focused on the things that will actually get there. So what you do is you work in 90-day sprints, like I just said, right? But then you break that 90 days down to 30-day goals. Because think about it, every 30 days, then there's another 30 days, and there's another 30 days. What's going to happen is when we work in 30 days, then we reflect at the end of the 30 days to adjust. Because remember what I said, if you think super far out, you're not going to hit the goal. Like 90 days is so long from now. And then we break that 30-day goal down to weekly goals, right? Because every week, if we improve it every week, it leads us to that 30-day goal, which makes the 30-day goal good. And that's going to put us in a high reality that we're probably going to hit the 90-day goal as well, because we keep making our things better. But one level down, we work in daily chunks. We map everything out to the hour we'll work, when we'll do it, and what we're doing. The daily routine. This is like how we go to war every single day. We make sure we hit our goals. Now, finally, this is something I don't see a lot of people doing, and I've not heard very many people talk about it, is you set up fail-safes to make sure you don't get off track, because it's very naive to think that you're going to set these big ambitious goals and you're going to hit them. It's very naive, because think about it. When you go on a diet and you're used to eating pizza and whatever you like, literally your diet consists of, well, what do I want today? What do I want this meal? That's how most people's diet is. And then you're like, all right, I'm cutting all this stuff out. I'm getting rid of soda. I'm just going to eat chicken and veggies 7 days a week. Like, good luck. It's hard. It's hard. You're gonna fail. Same thing for business. If you're not used to being a productive person and an action taker, and you think you're going to do like these 5 tasks every single day, you're probably going to struggle to get one done if you've just been consuming. So that's why you got to set up the fail-safes to avoid that. Remember what I said? Dad, every day, remind me, YouTube. That's it. I don't need you to say anything else. Just focus on YouTube. Nothing else. Because I know that will shut my... It's like a trigger. It reminds me. Don't focus on anything but YouTube. Now, we want to map out the strategy, right? I'm going to show you like an example of doing this. This is not my goal. I'm just going to show you an example. So what you want to do is create a 90-day goal that you're aiming to accomplish, right? And then you reverse engineer the action steps that it'll take you to get there. And obviously, you're probably not going to get all the action steps right. I just want you to know that like it's using common sense of what you think you need to do in order to get there. Then from there, you break it down monthly, weekly, and then daily objectives. So here's an example of a 90-day goal. Say you wanted to learn Facebook ads to get 100 leads a day. So I would come up with a strategy. I'm going to run a Facebook live stream daily. And how I would come to this conclusion is I see some of the high-level people that I follow that they do Facebook live streams and they run ads to the live stream. And then I'm going to set up video ads to that live stream. So I'll do the live stream and then I'll run ads to the live stream. And then from there, I'm going to run retargeting ads. So my logic would be, instead of just trying to directly advertise to someone, I'm going to build a relationship with that person first, right? I'm going to get them to know, like, and trust me and get open to hearing more from me, and then I'm going to advertise to them. Because this looks way better to me than just running an ad and talking about how cool I am and how I'm going to help them. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend time every single week to study new ideas on what's working to keep up on Facebook ads. Because remember what I said, singular focus, right? Because I understand if I want to stay at the top of the Facebook game, I got to literally look at what everybody's doing that's bad so I can avoid that. And then I got to look at what people that are at the top of the game are doing so I can do that. And then I also got to create time in my head to think about how do I put my own spin on things so I don't look like I'm just copying somebody. This is what people, they fail to do. They get a course, they do exactly what the course says, and then when it doesn't work, they're like, I don't understand. I followed the course. You also do have to use a little bit of thought process. Now, from there, right, we want to map that down to the 30-day goal. So I'd map that down and say, okay, what do I need to do the next 30 days? Remember, like, we're not going to map out every 30 days. I'm just giving you an example of how I go through this process. So every 30 days, just so you know, you're going to have a reviewing time where you sit down. We're going to review every week. Every week, you're going to review what you do. But every month, you will do it as well. You'll like look back over the whole month and see what progress you had, where'd you fail, what do you need to improve. So for the first 30 days, I'd say, okay, I need to research topics to study each week. Because here's the problem I'm going to run into. If I don't know a bunch of stuff yet, I'm going to have to spend a lot of my time first researching things I want to talk about. Then I'm also going to have time to go through those so I can actually have content that I'm going to teach. And then from there, I need to research how to do Facebook ads because I have no clue how to set up a Facebook ad. So I'm also going to probably need to set up time to study how to do that. Now, I also need to set up a video ad to live streams. I'm just going to set the budget of $5 to $20 per video, and I'm going to test each one to figure out which one works. And then when I find something that works, I'll scale that up. Now, I need to test, tweak, and track what I'm doing to improve, and this is daily. I need to keep track. I need to keep a log of what I'm doing, so that way by the end of the month, I can reflect back on everything I did to figure out what worked, what didn't work. Give me a yes if you've ever done paid ads and then it didn't work, but you couldn't figure out why it didn't work. I guarantee you probably didn't do this. You didn't keep track of your numbers. You didn't keep track of your ad spend. You didn't keep track of your clicks. You didn't keep track of your conversions for your leads. You don't know how much a lead cost you. You don't know which targets you actually did because there's so many ads you ran. You don't even remember what ads you ran. So you're going to have a hard time dictating what worked and what didn't. So then what I do at the end of the month is I revisit my plan in month 1, and that's how I adjust for month 2. Now, here's what I would do weekly. So on the weekly goal, I break things down week by week, right? It's not all 4 weeks. It's 1 week at a time. Remember what I said, the more you can make your life simple so you live in that present moment, the better. Like, if you live in the whole month, that's anxiety. You're thinking, like even right now, when I think of 30 days from now, if I look at my if I even just glance over at the moment and I look at my 30-day goal list, I start stressing out because it's a mountaintop of work to get done. So I focus on weekly and then even more so daily. Now my focus is just 1 week at a time because this kills the stress. This kills the overwhelm. On Sundays, it's my day of rest. This is for multiple reasons: spiritual, relaxation, to clear my mind, family. And it's also, I sit down and plan my week. So that way I'm already a day ahead. So instead of sitting down on Monday and saying, okay, what will I do? I already know on Monday when it's time to work what I'm doing. This gives me a calmness. Like, I've never been this calm and sure in my life that I'm going to hit my goal than ever. And it's just because of the fact that I'm very systematized in what I do. Before, I really winged it. And I was able to do a lot of great stuff, but it was very stressful. Sasha says, how do you blend out the monthly goals? Can you clarify exactly what you mean by that? Now, I review my work to figure out what I need to improve on. So every Sunday, what I'm doing is I'm asking myself, what did I do right? What do I feel I did wrong? And what do I feel that I need to improve? I do this exercise with my one-on-one coaching students. I message them every single week and say, okay, report in. What did you do right? What do you feel you did wrong? And what do you feel you need to improve? And that's why you got to be tracking this stuff every day. I'm going to teach you, like, you got to be keeping notes of this stuff. Otherwise, you're going to guess. Well, I think I did this and I fell short on this, but you don't even know what day you fell short. You just know you fell short. The more control, the more routine, the more systematized you are, the more peace and calmness you're going to have in all areas of your life. Anxiety, literally, like, what does our society do? I feel depressed. Let me get a pill. Here's the fix. Just get your shit together. Like when you have your life so routine like this, you don't need that pill because you're calm. You're collective. You feel good. You feel happy. You probably can tell, even though I'm a very direct and bold person, you notice even when I say things, you'll kind of hear me laugh every now and then because I even, like, some of the stuff I'm saying, it's kind of smart ass in nature and it makes me laugh. I hope that you guys aren't so serious that, like, you're like, I don't like this guy. It's like he's talking down to me. I hope, give me a yes. Do you guys know that I'm like trying to talk to you, not down to you? Like, I try to throw in humor so that way you can see that, like, I'm not even a serious person. Like, I have to try to be serious. Like, at the end of the day, we got to make sure we stay routine because I'm telling you, like, guys, if I didn't think this would help you, I would just go straight into the technical stuff. But I realized this is where I failed. And, like, if I could just save one person that you don't go around, like, stressed out and, like, anxiety all the time. Like, guys, if you know anything about it, I'm not even joking. I literally was 2 seconds away from killing myself. And if it wasn't for the fact that my dog was staring me down, I felt guilty because it made me think of my parents. Like, I would have did it. I would not even be here talking to you. And it was because of the fact that, like, at that point in my life, I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know about, like I wish I knew about meditation then and about having a routine I followed because in my job, my job just dictated my life 100%. I was depressed. I was in debt. But I would have been a lot more peaceful if I understood this stuff. Heck, even the first 2 years of my entrepreneur journey was like misery. It was just like It was pure stress. Like when you guys look at that documentary, it looks all great. Like even though I went through some struggles, like that's like the pretty version. That's sugarcoating it. It's not the daily crying in my room. I'm not even joking. I'd literally be crying like, God, I'm working so hard. Like what am I doing wrong? Like I see people that don't even help people and I'm trying to help people. Like what am I doing? I'd literally have tears in my eyes and want to quit. And it was because I didn't understand this stuff. I was a mess. Now, daily. One live stream daily at 8 p.m. EST. See, now we're getting very specific. Hold on, I'm going to actually answer Sasha's question before I go on, before the comments go. I mean, you always focus on your daily task, but at the same time you said that you feel anxious when looking at your 30-day goals. How do you blend out the 30-day goals and have the problem that I always have these goals in the back of my mind, which is kind of paralyzing? Okay, so I'm going to teach you that here in a minute, like how I get like thoughts out of my head, because if not, I think about it. But if you look, I'm showing you how I do that. I have like a high level goal, which is like learn Facebook ads and get 100 leads a day. Because if you understand this is why like a lot of people never learn anything. If you just immersed yourself and all you studied and did was Facebook ads for 30 days, I guarantee you'd be better at it as somebody that's been doing it for a year. Because they're like trying to master 20 skills at once, and that's why they're not good at anything. So when you map things down, and really all you're focusing on is one high level thing at a time. Like you're probably, the reality is the reason we only focus in 1 month at a time is because the goals are going to change. Like you may even learn to master Instagram later in the year, but you only immerse yourself and just go all in 1 month at a time. And you'll learn more things and become a high level marketer 10 times faster than people have been trying this stuff for 10 years because they never do this. They just consume, and they never focus on mastery. They dabble. All right, so the daily. I'm going to do one live stream daily at 8 p.m. EST. See, it's one thing to say I'm going to do daily live streams, but I got to put a time to it. Now it's a real thing, right? Did any of you guys notice when I said I was going to do these live streams again, I posted a week ahead of time to let you know I did it, or I'm going to do it? There's a reason for that. I knew once I posted it, there was literally no going back. Once I said I will be here every day at 10 a.m. EST, you guys are going to watch me. And now if I fall short, you see it. It's public accountability. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run small budget to each video, a max of $20 to test that topic. Sometimes it may only be 5 to 10. I just want to get feedback to see if my messaging is right. You'll understand this when we start talking about messaging to your audience. I'm just testing the messaging to see if that video resonates, and if it does, then I can scale it up. Now, I'm going to log everything daily in my journal. I'm talking the live stream stats, how many likes, how many comments, what the topic was, my ad stats, everything from conversions, link clicks, how many impressions. I'm going to log everything. And the reason I want this is because I can track over the course of even a whole year. I can look back in my journal and look at my improvement, what I did right, what I did wrong. Then I can actually make a real hypothesis at the end of the month. And then 1 hour of studying Facebook every single month, or every single day, sorry, a course. Give me a yes if this makes sense. Like if you guys have never done stuff like this, give me a yes if this makes sense compared to what you possibly did before, and how you actually chunk away and master stuff literally in 30 days. This is how you master things literally in 30 days. Like, say you wanted to learn NLP. If all you did is just study NLP courses for 30 days straight, you will know NLP better than somebody that thinks they know it and they've been doing it for 2 years straight. Nobody does this stuff. They're a jack of all trades. They're trying to learn like 20 things at once. All right, so here's a few tips for the strategy, because you want to get as, like, I didn't go as deep as I wanted to. Like I wanted to go even deeper, but I was pressed for time. But you want to get as specific as possible. So an example would be like if you wanted to make $10,000 a month in click. Somebody asked me this other day, and I broke down like example. Like if you wanted to make $1 million a year, you need to know how much how much that is monthly, how much that is daily, and even how many of the product that you're selling that you need to get that. So if you wanted to make $10,000 a month in ClickFunnels, you need to know how many free trials, how many trials you need daily, how many you need weekly, how many you need monthly. Because you can't just say I want to make $10,000 a month with ClickFunnels, because it's not specific. You don't even know what you're aiming for. You also, I want you to understand, you're not going to be very consistent when you start. If you guys remember, I shared how I used to do the 30-day challenges, like for say video or live streams or something. And the whole point was like people, they got the challenge wrong. They thought the goal was to like make a bunch of sales and get a bunch of leads in 30 days. And it wasn't. It was just to get comfortable on video. It was to develop your message and to be consistent, to do it every single day. That was the only point of the challenge, right? Because once you can actually do something consistently, then from there you can actually focus on getting good at it. And so, like, in the beginning, a lot of people struggled. Like, they had a hard time, like, they were coming up with, like, I don't know what to talk about, so they wouldn't do the video. Or they would, like, go to do the video, and they'd feel that, like, that fuzzy feeling kicking in that's not comfortable, and they wouldn't want to do it. And so what you got to really do is you got to train your brain to be consistent and to create a habit. Like, it's not normal. It's not normal to be consistent. It's really not, because we are in a world where we're taught to do 20 things at once. So to be consistent with something, it takes work. Just like I asked you guys a couple days ago, how many of you guys have stuck to something for 1 year straight? And everybody said no. Not one person said yes. So you want to work week by week to get better. And if you don't get something done, here's what I want you to do. Screw it. Don't stress out. Just move it to tomorrow and chip away at it again. What I used to do is I'd set like 5 things I was going to do, right? And if, like, let's say I even got 4 of them done, I would stress out so bad about the 4th thing that I didn't get done. Even though I should have been happy and, like, patting myself on the back that I was productive and got 4 things done, because I did not get the 5th thing done, I built up all this anxiety, and I'd beat myself up and like talk down to myself. And so now I don't get upset about it. I don't stress about it. I literally just move it tomorrow. There's not a thought in my mind about it. I just say I'm just going to do it tomorrow. This is why I said I'm now more calm in my life, is because I don't have so much pressure on myself that I can't relax and have fun. Even though it seems like all I do is work, I watch movies, I watch Netflix. I like to study, like, stuff, like, fun time to me is studying courses. Like, now I have a course I want to learn to use my new camera. I'm always trying to learn to get smarter so I can use it in business, but that to me is fun. Everybody has their own idea of what fun is. Now, what you want to do is set smaller goals so you can have singular focus, right? Because a lot of people are trying to, like, do like 5 things at once. Here's an example. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in the next 90 days. I'm going to make $10,000 a month, and I'm going to, I don't know, throw another goal in. I can't think off the top of my head. And I read this in Straight Line Leadership that almost none of us, like, can really focus on more than 2 to 3 things at once. So if, like, example, like, you have kids, right? That's already number 1. That's already taken number 1. And then, you know, if you have a job, that's number 2. So you got to be realistic of how many things you can really do out of the gate, and you got to habit stack. So once you can create 1 really good habit, then you can do number 2. So a perfect example of this is when my dad started with the losing weight, right? Because he's never really done it. I mean, he's tried it. He's lost weight before, but he gained it back. So when he started again, here's what he did. The first thing he focused on was just eating right every day. He didn't do any exercise, not one, because he knew that his mind wasn't prepared to do exercise plus eat consistently. He was having a hard enough time seeing commercials of, like, Pizza Hut and then eating chicken and veggies. And so he focused for the first month on just getting the habit of eating. Once he did it for like a month, it was like normal to him. And he's like, all right, I'm ready to start walking. But then he did not go to the gym with me. He just walked with me. And even then, he didn't do it every single day. He did it like 3 times a week. And then once he felt, okay, I can do it 3 times a week, then he actually bumped it up from like 2 miles a day 3 times a week to 4 miles a day 3 times a week. Once he got to 3 times a week, then he went to 6 to 7 days a week. You see, you got to really build up that habit, because your brain wants to tell you, no, just take it easy. Your body's sore. Take it easy. You're tired. Like, it's not there to make you succeed. It's there to make you comfortable. So here's something I want to show you. And this is not me. I did not create this. This is Tony Robbins' framework of awesomeness, is what he calls it. And basically, you take an action. Usually, it's like a little action, right? And then from there, you get some kind of result. It's usually a small result. That triggers a belief in your head, like, wow, this actually works, or I can do it. So what happens? Now you take another action, which is a little bit bigger of an action. And then you take that action, and you get another result. It's slightly bigger. And then you trigger your mind again to get belief, and you take another action. That's why he calls it the circle of awesomeness. As long as you don't stop and you just keep doing it, it gets better and gets better and gets better and gets better, and it compounds like we talked about previously. So here's what you got to do to train your brain to take action, right? You have like the trigger. The trigger is you wake up. You get out of bed. Now, you need to use that in your head of the action. What is the action I do? You execute on the action plan you created. What I used to make the actual the mistake, I spent my time in the mornings just focusing on personal development. So what I've started doing is I do personal development for the most part at nighttime. So my brain is already working throughout the night. Like, you know, I read some kind of book, like light reading, that has my head, and I read my vision. So when I start my day, I'm already ready to get out of bed and start on the first thing. I get my cup of coffee. I wake up, of course, do some push-ups just to get the blood flowing, and then I go straight into my action plan. Now, after I take action for a little bit, I take a break, and then I go to the gym. And during the gym, I'm usually listening to podcasts or some kind of audiobook or something that I want to put more good stuff in my head. Then when I get home, I take more action. I keep chipping away at that action list. And then later in the day, I will read my goals and stuff like that again to keep my brain recharged. And then I do it again. But then I always have a reward. Now, for me, it's to read a book. I understand for some of you guys that may not be a reward to you. That may be like hell. It may be like a chore. But I've trained my brain from the second version I'm going to show you to move to this version, and my reward is the book. I get to read. To me, that's pleasure. So this may be where you start, right? It may be you wake up, you take action like I just talked about, but your reward is you get to watch Netflix in the evening with your family. You got to train your brain that things that normal people do is rewards. It's not something you just do. This is why somebody who has a hard time like eating a healthy diet, they eat so much stuff like Taco Bell and fast food and anything they want that they don't even view it as like a reward. They just view it as something they do. Like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna go get some McDonald's for lunch. For me, I view like a Big Mac as like, oh yes. It's like excitement. I get to go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac. I'm not joking. I really get that excited about a Big Mac because I don't have it every day. So when I do have it, it's just like I'm on top of the world. So what you got to do is learn to go from this to more disciplined to get to this. Now, the reality is most people are not going to be able to go straight here. If you don't read books, if you're a person who doesn't read books, it's going to be hard just to every day you look at reading a book as a reward. I had to train myself to do that. Before entrepreneurship, I never read a single book in my life. To me, books are for school. Once I got out of school, I'm done with books. I had to train myself to get here. Now, let's talk about creating your accountability system. We're getting close to being done now. So what I do is I set up my daily schedule in Google Docs. So remember what we did? We mapped out like the plan, right? Of 90 days, 30 days, weekly, and then we got down to daily. So now what we need to do is we need to transfer that daily plan onto Google Docs. So that way every single morning we can look at that so we know what we're doing. Natalie said you can have a bunless Big Mac. I don't think that pre-processed meat is still very healthy and fits in my diet plan and my macros. So then what I do is I also input my vision into Google Docs as well. Now, as I told you, the reason I kept it here morning and night, this is like what I used to do. This is what I'm suggesting you do. I think it's going to be hard for you to just execute straight out of the morning. I've trained my brain to do this. A lot of people need that, they need that inspiration to get going. And that's fine. Like in the beginning, your brain it's not meant just to wake up and execute. I've trained my brain to do that. But what you're doing is you're conditioning your mind for habits. If you remember what I said about how when I get a one-on-one coaching student, they don't even know what I'm telling them to do when I tell them to read Straight Line Leadership. They think I'm just telling them to do this to get their mind right, but I'm also teaching them to create a habit. Because I know if they create one habit, then they can create a second one and a third one and fourth one. It carries over into all areas of the life. Now, what I do, this is for Sasha. You asked me, how do I get all these thoughts and all these things out of my head? I journal every morning. Now, I journal for two reasons. One, which is to track everything I'm doing, but it's also to write any ideas or things I'm feeling. I learned this from Russ Whitney. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He used to be very big in selling and real estate and stuff too, and then he later become kind of like a spiritual leader, so to speak. But he said basically for him, it's about connecting with God in the morning. So what he does is he sits down with a pad of paper and a pen and just writes his thoughts. And he doesn't judge what he writes. He doesn't think if it's good or bad. He goes, sometimes he has really screwed up stuff he writes, but he just lets it flow. And a lot of times his ideas come out like his perfect idea, what he should do. It comes out just journaling. And so every morning I just write how I feel, what ideas are in my head. Now I'm going to talk about in a minute. I have two different types of journals and how I do it. Now the last one is ideally you want to get an accountability partner. And the reason for this is because when you're holding yourself accountable, especially to somebody you see as a superior or somebody who is on your level, right, that will call you on your stuff, it's more important because of the fact that now you can't lie. If you're hey, this is what I'm working on the next week, and then you meet up a week later, and they're like, hey, why'd you not do it? It sucks. It sucks to admit that you didn't do it. You really got to hold yourself accountable, because if not, you have to admit to your friend or your coach or whoever it is, about what you didn't do. I learned this years ago with Kirian, with my coach, and every week we'd meet up, and I had to literally, like, I had to let him know what I did, I didn't do, like that exercise, what I do right, what I do wrong, what I need to improve. I learned it from him. Now, here's what I want you to do. This is straight out of Straight Line Leadership. Step 1, you're going to list out what you're interested in accomplishing. Notice I said interested. This is things that you have ideas on, things that you think would be cool to do. Now, step 2, I want you to list out what you're committed to accomplishing. So here's the thing. I want you, after you list out what you're committed to accomplishing, I want you to put away the list that you have interest on. Because people do not do much with what they're interested in doing. So why should we pretend and waste our energy and valuable time on things we're just interested in? This is how I get the ideas out of my head, Sasha. Now, step 3, list out what you're committed, meaning willing to do whatever it takes to accomplishing later. Now, step 4 is to list out what you're committed to accomplishing now. Now, what you do is you set aside the later list, and you can always address that in the future to see if you're really that committed to it when it becomes a must. This is how you eliminate distractions, because your head has so many thoughts. I've heard the number of how many thoughts we have a day. It's just mind-numbing. And this is why you feel confused and overwhelmed and frustrated, is because all those thoughts are driving you insane. So this is what you do. You only do what you're committed to do right now, because everything else, it doesn't matter. You can only do so many things. Remember what I said, you can only have so many real commitments. So if you're not committed to it, don't let it waste space in your head. Now, journaling. So I'm an idea guy. This is the beauty and the trap of being an entrepreneur, is we're very creative souls. We have lots of ideas, right? And I always have good ideas, but good ideas don't mean I should act on it right now. I have a lot of great ideas, but they're not phenomenal ideas. They're not things that will move me where I want to go. Now, as I said, all the ideas you're interested in, possible things you want to study, things you want to learn, things you just don't want to forget. Like a lot of times I like to carry around like a journal when I'm going places, when I'm traveling. But when I'm on the go, I use my iPhone. I'll put in notes. If there's something I think of, it's amazing, because I'll forget about it 10 minutes later. I put it down, then I later transfer it to my journal. Now, if I don't get things out of my head, what happens is I do exactly what you did, Sasha. I obsess over them. And then what happens is I can start researching how to do this thing and start studying somebody else who's good at that thing. And next thing I know, I realize, and I sit down and think, I'm like, I'm not even committed to doing this right now. It's wasting my time. Now, I have one journal that tracks stats. That's like the things I'm doing daily, And then I have one that's like more, my ideas. So I have the one that I track all the task and all that stuff that I want to make sure that I keep track of for the end of the week. And then I have the other ones like random thoughts, ideas I possibly want to review later, or possible products I want to create. So the one that's like the generalized thoughts, right? This is for how you're feeling, what you feel like you've accomplished, what you didn't feel like you accomplished each day. It's more like things that you should improve on. The one that's more task-oriented, you just want to keep that journal really, really clean. The one that's like your daily task of what you're doing. You don't want to write, did you do it good? Did you not do it good? You want to keep that journal like super, super clean. And the reason being is this helps you on Sunday to look back on your day of rest and like look at like what you did right, what you did wrong, what you can improve upon. It's very, very easy just to scan through it, and you can look at every single day. And then what you do is you plan for the following week so you can improve on those things. Usually my schedule for the most part is the same. Like right now, this is totally different. I'm doing this whole 30-day plan, and it takes a lot of my time every day. But moving forward, my live streams will be much easier to do because I don't have to sit and create slides for 3 hours. Usually my day is pretty routine. And this is how I get 1% better every single day, because I'm tracking everything I'm doing. Now, as I said, I put all the goals. This is my accountability system, personal accountability, not a person that holds me accountable. I put all the goals in the docs. Now, remember, this is old. This is from 2017. But I literally list out everything by hour that I'm going to do. So for you, you may just like, and you're welcome to do it however you want, right? If you know that most of your day is taken up by work, and then you also have family time, then just write down the time that you're going to work, and those times what you're going to do. A lot of people are probably more clean and even more organized than me. I'm pretty detailed, but I'm sure there's some of you, like you probably know how to make Google Docs look beautiful. I know how to do the basics, literally. I'm not as techie as you may think I am. I've seen some people make like their spreadsheets, and I'm just like, I don't even know how to do that. It looks cool, though. Now, here's something I use, and a lot of people love this, and I guarantee you're going to love the very next tip because it's with Jerry Seinfeld. But I use this giant wall calendar that sits to the right of my computer. And so every single thing that I have mapped out in Google Docs, it also sits right there. And I also forgot to put it in the slide, but I keep a pad of paper and a pen, and I write down the same things that are in Google Docs. I write down the same task that I'm doing today that is on the calendar, and it's on the pad of paper with a pen. And the main reason is so I can cross it off that I did it. Now you'll understand why the calendar is important here in a minute. So this is why the calendar is important. This is the Jerry Seinfeld method, and I think it's like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So years ago when Seinfeld was a new television show, Jerry Seinfeld was still really touring as a comic, right? He wasn't like as popular as he obviously is today. And at the time, this young comic was trying to learn the ropes, and he asked Seinfeld if he had any tips for a young comic, and Jerry said, yeah, the way to be better as a comic is to create better jokes, and the way to create better jokes is to write jokes every single day. So Jerry's technique can help you do that work, and anything you like, whenever you don't feel like doing it, this technique helps. So here's how it works. He revealed a unique calendar system he uses to pressure himself to write, because he said it's human nature, right? You're not going to want to write stuff every day. So he told the young comic to get a big wall calendar that has a whole year on one page and hang it on a prominent wall. The next step was to get a big red marker. He said for each day that you do the task of writing, you get to put a big red X on that day. After a few days, you'll have a chain. Just keep at it, and the chain will grow longer every day. You're going to end up liking seeing that chain, especially when you get a few weeks under your belt. Your only job next is to not break the chain. So just 1% every single day, right? So you just don't break the chain, he emphasized. You can use this technique in many different areas of your life. You can use it for exercise, to stay on your diet, to eat healthy, to learn new skills, to do a specific task daily in your business, or really any area in your life you're trying to be consistent. It works because it's the one-shot pushes you that gets you where you want to go. It's not like this big thing you're doing. I meant to say it works because it isn't the one-shot. What it's focused on is doing the thing and chipping away at it daily to get better at it. It's not about like one big thing and you master it, right? It's the little task of writing that joke every single day and being consistent. And that consistency builds extraordinary outcomes. Now, you probably heard the term like inch by inch and anything's a cinch. Maybe not. But an inch by inch, it works because of the fact that you're moving just 1 inch every single day. You're not moving, 12 inches at a time. This is where I come up with the whole 1% better. Now, if you go back really quick and you look at mine, you're going to see I do it a little bit different. I don't do the red X's, and the reason being is I list everything on there like gym. I list eating right for the day, and then I list like, my tasks that I'm supposed to do. Now, you probably can't see it, but there's tiny little boxes on there, right? And when I do it, I put a green check, not a red X. The reason I do this is, I don't know if you remember something like this, but when I was in school, they would give us stickers. They would have like a calendar, and like you get to see all the classmates, and when you did stuff you were supposed to do, you did stickers, and it goes all the way across. And then once you got all the stickers, you get a reward. So what I do is when I get all the green checks and I do it consistently for a month, I get some kind of big reward. Now for you, you can do it weekly, you can do it monthly. I've even heard Russell Brunson say he has the thing like his reward is once a week he gets to go out and eat a nice dinner. Like you can create this however you want, but the system is the same. It's to get the red X every single day. And it's really just a trigger in your brain that you're rewarding yourself and training your brain to do the things necessary. So at that point, we are now at Q&A. And any questions that I missed, I've been glancing at the chat, but I'm just trying to stay on track. So if I didn't answer the question, throw it in the chat box and I'll answer it now. By the way, nobody asked this, but if you want to know where, because somebody always asks it later, they always ask like, where do you get the wall calendar? You just go to Amazon.com and type in jumbo wall calendar. You'll see like 50 of them. They're all pretty much the same. You can find some that stick on the wall. You can find other ones you tack on the wall. Is it possible to get the slides? Yeah, I don't have a problem giving this slide because there's no like income in it. There's no like student testimonials, nothing I got to worry about like as far as getting me in trouble with somebody doing the wrong things with it. So I can make a PDF of it and upload it. I'll just upload it with a unit, so it goes in there, or the resources section. Is that it? No questions at all on any of this method? Going once, going twice. Natalie says I use Trello for tasks. Yeah, Trello is nice too, where you can make the boards. That's another thing you guys may want to check into. If you're more of a digital person, you may enjoy some of that stuff. I'm still kind of old school. I like to use pen and paper and calendars and stuff. I kind of feel you need to know what to do before you can figure out what you need to do. Chicken and egg situation. Okay, so yes, that's true, Gary. You do need to know what to do. But what I'm doing is I'm teaching you how to map out your plan, because as we go through all the technical stuff, that's when you're going to start figuring out, okay, what traffic source am I going to focus on? What content platform am I going to pick to deliver my content? What I'm doing is a lot of people do the things where they teach you all the technical stuff, and they don't teach you the mindset and the things that go into it that you need to do to implement. So what I'm doing is I'm flipping it on its head. I'm teaching you the actual mindset and how you actually create a plan, and then I'm going to teach you the technical so then you can actually create your own plan. So like if you were deciding you're going to do YouTube, right? If you're more of like a person who just wants to jump straight in now, if you're doing YouTube, you go reverse YouTube channels, figure out what other people are doing, and then map out your daily objectives. But I'm teaching you the plan now, so that way later you don't have a question of like, well, how do I put all this together? The comment went really fast, but I seen the end of it. Jenny, you said something about you were doing live streams daily, but you switched to focusing on the funnel. Is that the right thing to do? Yes. Like for me, like I would have the funnel done before I'd start creating all my content. Once I had the funnel done, then I would start creating content again, because now I have something I can test. When I'm starting to push people into, the funnel, I'll know if the stuff is working. I don't like writing, so I heard you talk about transcripts. Where can I find great software for that? To my knowledge, there isn't a great software for transcription. A lot of it still jumbles your words. You have to do a lot of editing. A real human transcribing your content is going to be error-proof for the most part. A lot of the software, it spits out pretty crappy stuff. I have Trello as well, but I've not really used it. Need to check it out. Fred, what do you mean by and blogging? You didn't get very specific there. What do you mean by and blogging? How do we get your slides? I'm going to create a PDF of them, and then I will upload it later to the resources section in the unit. So if you haven't noticed, I've created a unit inside of the Facebook group. I don't know how it looks on mobile, but on desktop, you can literally look on the left-hand sidebar, and you can see where it says like about, discussion, units. In the unit, I'm organizing all these videos in order, day 1, day 2, day 3. So I'll probably upload the resources there. I'll post in the group later when I do it. No, a plan for scheduling blog posts and articles. Okay, so like just like how I talked about like with the plan of mapping out your 90-day goal. So what's your goal? How many blog posts do you plan to create a month? And then obviously map that down to how many blog posts will you create, in 90 days? And then how many blog posts are you going to create a month? And then how many will you create weekly? And then also what would be your what traffic source are you going to focus on to also promote those blog posts? Because if you just blog and wait for it, it's going to take a long time. So I would literally map out every single thing from like how many blog posts I'm going to create. I would create time for when I'm going to research my content, because to create a great blog post, you got to do some research. I would create time for when I'm going to actually do all this stuff, a specific day, hour, and time. And then from there, I'd create time for when I'm going to promote each blog post that I created. That's how I'd map that out. Since we should focus on the funnel, should I put off drafting my YouTube videos for later? I haven't started YouTube yet. If you've not created a funnel, it depends on what you're doing. If you're using my funnel, then set up the funnel. If you're creating your own funnel, then you want to focus on creating your own funnel first. I mean, it's good to build the audience. I agree with building the audience is very, very important. But if you have nothing to gauge like how people are responding to, like once you're actually creating content, I'm telling you, like if you're just creating content and you're like for months upon months and you're not getting paid, eventually you're going to kind of burn out. Like the faster, like you're going to see results, of course, things like, okay, they liking my content or they commenting on it. But at the end of the day, you can't cash likes. So you definitely want to have a funnel in place to gauge if what you're doing is resonating, because if it's resonating enough, then they're going to spend money. I always hear Russell say, I trust people who vote with their credit card. I don't trust my own opinion. So I do think that having the funnel up is the most important part, hands down.